The RNAV systems. This is the new and the modern age of aviation when we are flying directly from one point to the other. This is possible because of RNAV systems. Before, people used to use VORs and NDBs and they had certain limitations, which means that you had to fly Victor Airways. Victor Airways used to originate and end at VORs. So if you don't have a VOR around a particular airport, it was pretty difficult to navigate to that airport using Victor Airways. But now with GPS, you might have experienced GPS Direct function already. GPS Direct allows you to fly directly to any point in the national airspace system. Literally any latitude and longitude can be navigated directly using GPS, and GPS is a form of RNAV system. RNAV stands for area navigation. This is what the AIM has to say about RNAV. RNAV is a method of navigation that permits aircraft operation on any desired flight path within the coverage of ground or surface-based navigation aids or within the limits of the capability of self-contained aids or combination of these. In the future, there will be an increased dependence on the use of RNAV systems instead of routes defined by ground-based navigational aids. RNAV routes and terminal procedures are also being used in approaches, departure procedures, stars. There are several potential advantages of RNAV routes and procedures. First one is time and fuel savings. As you saw that we can fly more direct to a particular airspace, particular point, etc. Reduce dependence on radar vectoring, altitude and speed assignments, allowing a reduction in requirement of ATC communication. It also allows us more efficient use of airspace because since different aircrafts are equipped with RNAV systems which are working at really high accuracy, more aircrafts can be placed closer together than they would be if they didn't have those accurate navigation systems, because ATC still has to provide a margin of safety. That margin of safety can be reduced based on the accuracy of the navigation system that these aircrafts have. The Global Positioning System, or the GPS, is a radio navigation system based in space that consists of a constellation of satellites that broadcast navigation signals towards the Earth, space waves, and a network of ground stations and satellite control stations on the ground that monitor and regulate this constellation of satellites, the whole system. At the moment, there are 31 satellites circling the Earth at a height of about 11,000 miles according to the FAA's website, providing users with precise location, velocity, and time information anywhere in the world and in all weather situations. This is insane. GPS is operated and maintained by the Department of Defense. The FAA is transforming the national airspace system to performance-based navigation to address the shortfalls of the conventional ground-based navigational aids, which is what we have talked about when we were talking about RNAV as well. We are trying to increase the accuracy of navigation systems so that we are able to use the airspace more efficiently. We can save time and fuel, which we could not have done with the traditional nav aids like NDB and VOR. Performance-based navigation falls under the umbrella of RNAV, and it allows aircrafts to fly flexible point-to-point routes and parallel tracks to reduce en route checkpoints and delays. Globally, there are 4 satellite navigation systems. Users of satellite navigation are familiar with the United States version of the 31 global positioning satellites, the GPS, but there are 3 additional constellations which offer comparable services. These constellations and their augmentations are referred to as GNSS, Global Navigation Satellite System. This is the combined constellations and their augmentation systems. Apart from GPS, we have the GLONASS, which is created and operated by the Russian Federation. Then we have Galileo, developed and operated by the European Union. Then we have the BEDO, developed and operated by China. These are the other 3 constellations apart from GPS. The international community has been granted free usage of all of these providers' respective platforms. So Even if you are from the United States, you can still use Galileo, which is by the European Union. Now let's dive a little deeper into GPS. The basic GPS service provides users with approximately 7 meters of accuracy of position 95% of the time, anywhere on or near the Earth's surface. To accomplish this, each of the 31 satellites emits signals that enable receivers to determine their locations and time through a combination of signals from at least 4 satellites, which we will see soon. How does it work? Each satellite it has terminology associated with it which I don't want to use, but this is what the satellite signal consists of. When the GPS receiver receives the signal, it notes the time difference between when it was sent and when it was received. So we have the time it took for the satellite signal to go from the satellite to our receivers. Based on this time, we can calculate the distance of our aircraft or the receiver from the satellite using speed equals to distance upon time. Based on this, when such distances are combined from 4 satellites, there will be a unique 3D location pinpointed by the GPS receiver, and that's how we know our location. This is a very well animated video that I came across. This video is from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and honestly I think the animation of GPS position calculation cannot be any better.
Satellite X. My position is Y, and this information was sent at time Z. There is one problem, though. This means that we are approximately 10,900 miles away from the satellite in all directions, essentially making a sphere that we are on. In order to pinpoint our location, we need to use more satellites. By adding a second satellite, there are now 2 spheres that intersect. This makes a circle of where we could be. A circle contains an infinite number of points. So, we need to add a third satellite to get our position. By adding a third satellite, the sphere of our possible locations from the third satellite intersects the circle in 2 locations, one on Earth and one in space. By eliminating the location in space, we know our 2D location. In order to get a 3D location, a 4th satellite is necessary to remove any ambiguity in the position.